Hi guys, it's Nat here. Hope you're all doing well. I am on to continue on with the journal that I'm making as a design team project for Whichcraft Do You Do. So I am using their Oceanus Collection Set 1 and Collage Tear Papers Set 5. I think that's right. They will be linked down below. Also, just a reminder, because I keep forgetting to tell you, is you could get 25% off of any of Whichcraft Do You Do's digital papers if you put in the code NAT2024 upon checkout. So the code will be down below as well. Okay, so what I have done is I did show the papers on my last video for this project, which I'll try and remember to link below as well. And I have folded them and made signatures. I think I've got 4 signatures at the moment, just 4 little skinny signatures. So here's one of the papers on the front of this one. I've done one of their beautiful papers for the front of each signature, and I did back them. And I swapped between the 2 collections and just did the backgrounds of what I thought would look good. So I've added some of the papers that I've had hanging around here, tea-dyed papers, book pages. There's another one of their beautiful pages. Looks like sand. And then I printed the lined page over the top of one of their coloured pages as well. So I have made a start. I'm going very slow on my projects at the moment. Too much procrastinating and not enough doing. So I must get into it. So today I want to add I was going to do ruffles, and I thought, no, I don't think I want ruffles. But I have found this. I have a jelly roll of these coloured fabrics. And I really like them, so I've ripped this strip down, and I'd like to make a page edge, I think, for this page here, where it says the underwater world. I love it because this page was a bit short to cover, and it sits nicely, and you get to see the title of this book page, and I really love that, and I thought that would be perfect for when you open the cover, you get to see that. But I would like to decorate it a bit, so I want to stick this fabric there, and then I've got this feather trim. And I thought I might attach that to the top of the fabric. Now I might twist it. I have to twist it a bit more to get it how I want it, I think. Let's have a look. Twist it a bit. Because I don't want it too neat. And I could go over it with a sewing machine, but I think that'll catch bits of the feather and bunch it all together. So I think what I'm going to do is hand stitch that on to the background piece. So I might just start by getting the top sewn down. So I've just got one thread of embroidery cotton here, which isn't the strongest, but we won't be putting any resistance on this much to pull it off. So I think that'll be fine. And we'll just start tacking this feather trim down. Now I am not very good at sewing, but just think this will be a bit neater, not so obvious, the stitching. I think I'll just come down and do it in a few spots on the way down. Yeah, I think that'll be all right. Doesn't look too bad either. So what I will do is continue doing that all the way down and put a knot at the end. And then we'll come back on and adhere that to our page. Here is my page edge. I love the way it looks with that feather trim. So you can see some real shonky tacking down there, but it's done the trick. So put that to the side. Now I'll take my page out. Don't mind my blue finger. I went to check my ink pad and realised I had the wrong dauber that I wanted, and wanted to change my dauber over after I had just pressed it into the ink. So so I think I want to ink around this page with some blue, so I'm going to do that. So we'll stick this on. I think I want my pinked edge. This strip of fabric naturally, well not naturally, but already had a pinked edge on it. So I just ripped the other side, but I think I want the pinked edge peeking out. And we want to see our words, so I will stick that down. Let's stick that about like that. Get that bit out. Let's put some more to the edge there. Now, what does that look like? Probably should have covered up my stitching, but that's all right because we can add something on that side once we've covered up those pages. I don't think my brain's switched on yet. It's late in the afternoon. I didn't really get up that long ago. Don't ask. Okay, so that will be that. Love it. Looks so nice with the colours on that page. Okay, so that page, I did find this. I love this picture. I'm not going to say which kit it was from because I can't remember the difference between them. So you can click on the links below and have a look, but there's some beautiful pictures and fussy cuts. I also have a bit of book page which I have ripped out. It just has, I think it's gesso from a project. This was a backing page. I think I cleaned off some stencils on it. So I might use that as well. And I might just put a bit of ink around the edge of that. Although before I do that, I did decide I might want to make that a pocket. So, and if so, I need to make it thicker. So some of this might do, and then we'll have to rip it again. So yes, just been staying inside. It's pretty wet at the moment. We didn't have much rain at all for months, so we're getting the rain now, which is great for the gardens. But of course you don't really want to go out and do much in it. So I've stuck that down, so now I will go ripping it out again. Okay, so now I can give that just a little bit of ink around those edges. Not the sturdiest pocket, but I think it will do. I like using the old book page on the back and that to strengthen them rather than cardstock because it gets so bulky if you use cardstock for everything. So the next thing I wanted to do, I think I'll do afterwards. Well, I will show you. I've got this fabric. It comes from a shirt. And I love it. It's got a lot of texture. And I want to put that on top to layer our picture on. It's just hard to stretch it and have it stay where you want it. But I think I've been getting it there. Might put this edge up the top. down the bottom. Like so. So I might get that down. I'll see if my tacky glue will stick that down all right. It should. Reminded me of a net, so I thought we will use it. I love it how we say I don't want to use cardstock because it'll create bulk, and then we stick something like this on top. It's a lot thicker than any cardstock I have, but got to make sacrifices to do what you want, don't you? Okay, so that will be that. And then we've got this. It is very white, which didn't bother me when I was thinking of this, but it's bothering me a little now, so I think a bit of ink will help with that. I was almost going to reprint it on some old book page, but I don't want to have to print too much stuff. So I think ink will do if I can find my blending brushes. Yes. And we want a brown. I've got tea dye there. Let's see how this goes. Oh yeah, this is good. It's subtle, which is what I want. Oh, don't want to bend it though. Let's take the edge off of that whiteness. Yeah, that will do. Go along there a bit more. Now, I'm just debating whether I back this to make it a bit more firm before we stick it onto that, which I might do. It will fit on there. Now this, debating whether I want to sew that. I could even hand stitch that. Not that it needs it really. Let's just cut this down first. To sew or not to sew? It would hold it on just in case the glue comes up, so I might just do a quick sort of running stitch or something around this to hold it on. Not even going to bother putting a knot in this because I can just tie it off at the end. So, do I bother sticking that down first so I know where to go? Maybe I will. For that, I think I will use my fabric glue for that. And that can sit there. Oh, everything's sticking to me because I'm so magnetic and attractive in my dreams. Okay, so that's the seahorse down. Now let's have a look. I think if we go, maybe I'll start down the bottom. See what it looks like, and then I might change my mind and thicken my threads. I'll leave a bit of a tail. Oh no, that's all right. Don't want it too thick, especially with the way my sewing's going to end up looking. Now I'm just going to pull that through there so it holds it. I don't need that much though, Nat. Oh well, that's how much we've got. About at this stage, I think to myself, why, oh why did I not decide to do this on the sewing machine? So I will go and continue doing that all around my seahorse, and that will help hold on our fabric there. I've finished sewing around. You can see on the back there my messy sewing, and I have just left the threads. Once I got back to the start, I figured I could just tie a knot in these to finish it off, which is what I'm going to do. And I only managed to stab myself twice with the needle, so that's not too bad. I'm sure there's more to come. I love the way that looks. And then I had an idea, which happens on occasion. Got my little sequin book. I love this. I grabbed this little album and I filled it up with just a pinch of each of my sort of sequin type embellishments. It's so handy because now I can just look through it and find something. There's a few here that might work. I'll just grab my tweezers. There's this little flap on the top of each holder that stops them falling out if you tip it upside down, which is awesome. Oops, if I get it in where I meant to get it. I can grab out a few of each sequin that I think might look good in this journal. And then if I need more, I can come and grab more, but at least I'll know what I've got. So I'll do that now. Got some of these ones that are see-through, which will probably be nice as well. All right, so let's see. Because I think this would be nice with something dangling from the bottom. Some beads would be nice as well, but I always need to put it on the page to get a good look at how things are going to look. I do like them, but they don't stand out much. Oh, they're nice. Now it's like, do we want to mix or do we just want... Okay, I'm just going to put that one there. Now, do I want a bead in the middle to hold it, or do I just want to whack it on with some string around, or do I glue it? Those are the questions. So it might have to be string around. Okay, let's see if we can do this. Let's go up through there. Leave a bit of a tail. And then back through there. you want another string? Oh, will that do? I think that'll do. So then I can just turn it over, hopefully. Oops. And tie a knot. Tie a double knot. And I'll just snip that off. And see if it will do. Yeah, that will do. I quite like that. It looks like it's been caught in the net. So now, placement of other one. I do kind of like it. Now we can stick our little tuck spot down. So I'm going to leave it open to slip things in that way, so I will add glue on the bottom and the left-hand side. And that creates a nice little pocket for us to slip something into. So I love that. That's looking beautiful. And it's great using all these pieces that I've got lying around. Pull that out that way a bit. And that out that way a bit. All right, so there is one more little project I'd like to do with you to put in here somewhere. So I better just find the pieces that we need for that. I have here a page from the Oceanists collection. Then I've got these beautiful pictures from the Collage Tear kit. And I'm just cutting out two of these compass things. I forget what you call them. But them things, navigation things. So I am cutting out the border around them. That's what I want. I could not, as usual, get a die or a punch that fit them perfectly, so I'm having to do it by hand, which is one of my pet hates, cutting out circles. So I cut out the outside and the inside of both of them. I'm just going around the outside and the inside of both the frames with my ink. Get rid of any white edges. I also printed out some of the pictures onto transparency. So now I want to emboss my two frames just with some clear embossing powder. So I'm using my Versamark Watermark ink pad and my Sizzix clear embossing powder, and I just press the frames into the ink to get coverage and then tip the embossing powder on top. And then of course use my heat tool to melt the embossing powder on them. Gives them a really nice texture. Because they're sort of wood grain pattern, it just looks like lacquer on top of the wood grain, which is lovely. I wanted a bit of texture, but I didn't want too much bulk, so I thought that was the way to go about it. So I'm cutting out this circle, which has a map on the inside. And I think that will look nice on the transparency in my little, I assume they're sort of like portholes. I always say portal. That comes from me playing too many video games in my past. But yeah, sort of like a porthole, and I'm putting the transparent map in there. But what I want to do with this page that looks like sand, I love that, is make a little, what us old journalers call Rita Donnelly flips. So it'll be a corner tuck spot that will flip up and you'll be able to write in it. So I'm just measuring. I think I worked it out to be about a 4.5-inch square that I need to cut out of that, and that will fit my portal in and also fit on the page in my journal. So I'm just cutting off the white edges on my print. And yes, I have changed to doing a voiceover now so you can actually hear me, because I was mumbling a lot. Sorry about that. Yeah. So I've got my square there. Now I'm just bringing in my scoreboard, and I'm going to score it from corner to corner down the middle there so that I can get a nice crisp fold in it. And that will be my flip up piece. So it is very white and I do want it sturdier, so I'm going to back this or put on the inside some of my old book page. Just looks a bit more vintage and will make it a little more sturdy. Most people would probably just cover the whole piece, but I like to make things difficult, so I do each side separately. I just find that if I try and stick down a whole piece of paper, when I go to fold it, sort of bulks up in the middle and that, and I don't like that, so I prefer to do it this way. And just trim off the overhang. Yes, I'm not very good at doing long-winded talky videos these days anymore, so I tried. But I did find that I was quite mumbly and probably hard to hear, so I think it's better if I do voiceovers most of the time so that you can hear me. Plus, I live such a boring life, there's not much to talk about, really. So once we put our window in, there's not a lot of room in this, but there's, yeah, still area that you can write little notes and that. So I'm just measuring with a ruler to get about halfway. Usually I just eyeball where I want to put my circle and that, and it's always off centre, so I thought I'd be good and sort of measure a bit. So halfway across and halfway up and down, and then figuring out where it sort of looks good in that area. Just putting little dots so I know where halfway is. And I've got a die that will be able to cut. It's smaller than the circle borders I have, but it's larger than the circle that I want to put in the window. Just using washi tape, I pushed that washi tape against my jumper to get some fluff and lint on it so that it wouldn't stick too much to my paper, but it still did, and it took some of the colour off. Note to self to turn my paper over next time and do it on the inside. I'm cutting out my transparency. I am leaving a slight border around the edge there though that I can apply some glue to. Checking that it's going to fit all right. I'm just putting my glue around the outside of my cutout circle. And getting the placement of my transparency and then pressing the pocket down onto that to lift it up with the glue. Then I can put one of my little frames on. Trying to be so careful with the glue so not to get it on my transparency. I still managed to get a little bit on there though, unfortunately. So then I want to put another frame on the inside, and I completely forget that if they're not perfectly lined up, you might see the edges of them through the transparency. Didn't even think of that. So realistically, it'd probably be good to ink the inside of both frames so that if a bit of it does poke through and you can see a little bit of it, it's going to be nice and brown and you won't notice. Because when I turn this back over to have a look, I realise that and think I can see a bit of the edge there through the window. It's not too bad though. You probably wouldn't notice if I didn't tell you. So now I've got to disguise the bits that we ripped off with our washi tape. I was going to embellish the front anyway because it is a bit plain. So I've cut out these shells out of the book page. And I'm just adding them over around the place to disguise my mistake there. And then I've got this crab. I was going to put him on the front. I seem to desperately want to use him, but yeah, he didn't really work on the front, so he looks kind of cool peeking out through the window though, so I thought I'd put him on the inside. He was fun to fussy cut. So I put glue on him and then I dab him on a piece of paper to get excess glue off before I stick him down so I don't have glue coming out everywhere. So I think that will do for today's video. That was fun. So we did this embellishment on the first page, what will probably be the first page or pages in the journal. I love it. Got the seahorse. Now that was from the Collage Tear Papers Set 5. That embellishment, which I absolutely love. And I think the papers are from the Oceanist collection. Thought I had it all organised then in my head, but they're the only two kits that I'm using thus far for pages and the picture embellishments. And then we did this page edge, which I love. Love the texture on that. And then I decided to make a Rita Donnelly flip. So this will sit on one of the pages. I'm not sure which one yet. That's why I haven't actually put it in. It could sit somewhere like that. That actually looks kind of good. And it will be a pocket in behind there. And then you'll be able to flip it up. There's a little bit of writing space where you can scribble and doodle around the place. And we've got a little crab in there as well. And I like how he's just peeking in the window. And the window's got the transparency and a bit of glue, of course. Why is there always glue where you don't want it? Anyway, don't touch because I'll just make it worse. I really loved that. That was heaps of fun. And then I embellished it with some shells from the book page as well. So that is that, and that looks really neat. So that was heaps of fun. So the links to the kits that I'm using are down below if you want to go and have a look. And don't forget to use your code if you decide to buy any of their digitals. It's NAT2024. And that's valid until the end of the year. So take care of yourselves. Happy crafting, and I will see you soon. Bye.